Owned by mogul Ted Turner, historic and vast, Vermejo Park is an outstanding elk ranch of over 500,000 acres.
Quality of game in this country is spectacular.
I didn't even know this place existed here. They told me there's an exclusive hunting club. Exclusive wasn't in my vocabulary at that point. I had a elk hunt picture that was riding a horse up in the mountains and staying in a tent in the side of a snowdrift for a week. That was my idea of a hunt. This has just blown every expectation I had right out of the water. What a beautiful place. And the history here is phenomenal.
Vermejo is part of an old land grant that once was an exclusive place for the rich and famous to hunt elk.
They're very noble, they're very intelligent, and they're just such a unique species that we have in North America and other areas, but particularly in this part of the West, elk hunting has become, it's a big part of anyone's life that gets involved in it early.
Untouched by development, Vermejo remains as it was in the days of the fur trappers.
The Vermejo Park Ranch is just a beautiful place. I believe Ted Turner and his family have done a wonderful thing with this. He's not greedy at all with his land here. He could have really just come in and exploited this property, but he's not. He's kept it the way it's been since the beginning of time.
The natural surroundings of Vermejo recreate the experience of elk hunting known 150 years ago.
This is an actual real hunt. There's 1,000 square miles of land here. They're not penned off. They don't drive you up to a herd and say, we'll pick one and shoot it. This is an actual hunt. I've got blisters on my feet from walking so far.
The place to hunt elk next to the state named after their native home, the mountain, our fourth best, Montana.
When you start thinking about hunting elk, some of the northern western states really come to mind. And always when I was a young boy, Montana, for some reason, always seemed to be at the place I wanted to go hunt elk. I've hunted elk there several times out of Plains, Montana, and it's just great God's country.
This country, you don't get bored. I mean, it is amazing what you'll see. We stood in one spot and I saw 17 elk, including 2 bulls, 17 mule deer, including 2 really good bucks, 61 whitetails, and several coyotes within about an hour. There's just all kinds of wildlife. That's just one of the wonders of Montana.
Montana's famous for its wide variety of big game, but its abundant elk are #1.
Here we have a really large elk herd. You can expect to see, anywhere from 10 to 800 elk a day. It really depends on, migrations and things of that nature.
I don't think there was ever 15 or 20 minutes all morning that we weren't seeing elk. Big herds of elk. Elk here, elk there, start for one bunch to see what we could do with them and get sidetracked by another. I've never had any experience like that in my life.
Hunting elk is one of my favorite species to hunt, and elk country, there's nothing like it on earth. You can hunt whitetails in the river bottoms, but you'll never see what you see when you're out elk hunting. In an average week of elk hunting, we've seen wolves, moose, deer. There's so many ways to hunt elk, and it's just an awesome animal to hunt.
One of the greatest ranches in Colorado, America, and for elk, Three Forks at 3rd.
My wife asked me one time, if you could be anywhere in the month of September, where would it be? And I thought for a minute. I said, if you got me in a headlock and wrestled me to the ground, would be Three Forks Ranch in Colorado.
First impression at Three Forks for most of the clients is they're blown away by how nice it is, the beauty of the colors of the aspens changing, and then the multitude of elk that we normally get them into. There isn't a morning that we don't get them into elk. Every evening they're into elk. A lot of times, multiple different herds of elk.
I think one reason why Three Forks holds so many elk is the sheer quality of the habitat. A lot of aspen growth, pine, spruce, fir, scrub oak. We've got everything that elk need.
Three Forks Ranch stretches into 2 states, Colorado and Wyoming. And for the hunter, it offers terrain from peaks to plains.
One of the unique things about Three Forks Ranch is that they have this ranching with wildlife agreement with the state of Colorado that allows you to hunt trophy bulls during the peak of the rut with a rifle. Not too many places on the face of this planet where you can do that. They do it because of the unique arrangement they've got with Colorado and because of their commitment to wildlife conservation and the way they manage their ranch.
The elk populations there are great. They are managed very well. Your opportunity to kill record book bulls, there's only a couple other places in the world that can do that for you.
Number 2 is found in the most unlikely of places, Southern California. Tejon Ranch has by far the Golden State's best elk.
Tejon Ranch is located about an hour and a half north of Los Angeles. It's really a unique piece of land for being in Southern California. The ranch itself spans over 270,000 acres, really diversified, everything from hunting to farming to real estate.
I've been coming up to the Tejon Ranch now for about 7 or 8 years, and I've just had some great experiences. The food's fantastic, the accommodations are great. The guides have always done a fantastic job, they're good people. I mean, where can you come and get a hunt like this, you know, an hour out of LA?
To me, it's pretty amazing that there's a place like this that's been preserved and set aside the way the ranch has. The wildlife here is just amazing. Everything from condors to bears to bull elk, bobcats and deer. It's pretty special that this is here and in Southern California.
Elk are native to California, but not the Rocky Mountain subspecies. Tejon's Rocky Mountain elk are an old gift from Yellowstone.
Tejon Ranch has some of the finest elk hunting in the United States. A lot of people don't picture it being down in Southern California. The elk were originally brought in from Yellowstone in the late 50s, early 60s, and they were on a neighboring ranch. At some point in time, they escaped from that ranch. They've been running wild out here ever since. We estimate our herds to be up over 600 elk on the ranch now, and we're real selective on what we shoot. We only take about 5 bulls a year, and we're just looking for the oldest bulls to take out of the herd, and it really doesn't put much effect on the herd. The herd's been expanding dramatically over the last couple of years.
From now on, when you think of Southern California, remember it's not all swimming pools, movie stars. You get the picture. The reservation of the White Mountain Apaches in Arizona covers over 1.5 million acres of magnificent mountains and forest, making it the perfect pick for number 1 for elk.
When it comes to hunting Rocky Mountain elk, and I wanted the opportunity to legitimately kill a really big record book bull, I did all my research, and the place that has the most reputation for killing the biggest bulls, without a doubt, White Mountain Apache Reservation. It's expensive, but it is a great hunt. There's 1.7 million acres there that is managed strictly for Indian resources and hunting.
Every year we take record class bulls. On top of that, there's always these 400 class bulls that have been taken out at our other camps, and you know they're here. We just gotta go out and find them.
A major part of what makes White Mountain number 1 is the chance to call elk.
I think the idea of a massive animal like that responding to something that you're doing and you being able to bring them in closer, and the anticipation of hearing them get closer and closer, and then finally you get to see them, I just think can be so exciting.
But if you can get one to respond to a cow call, or years ago when they really used to respond to bugles, you could get out there during that early season, blow that bugle, take a stick, beat the sides of a tree, making sound like maybe that old bull was beating the brush and all those kind of things. And this bull comes charging in, he's got his little head thrown back and his antlers are scratching his butt as he's coming in, and he is bugling, he comes right up in your face, and it's like he's blowing snot in your face, and he is making this god-awful, wonderful racket. I mean, there's nothing that compares to having a bull do that.
It's a unique combination of factors that make White Mountain the best. Besides unsurpassed habitat, there's the enormous genetics of the elk, selective hunting, and perhaps the most profound of all, the opportunity to join with Native American guides in the pursuit of their traditional game.
Let me tell you, it's extremely difficult to pass up a 350-point bull elk. But when you're at White Mountain Apache Reservation, elk are in the 400s there. If you can stay off the trigger, you have a bona fide opportunity at killing the bull of your dreams. And I have been fortunate enough to be able to kill a couple bulls that make the record book there.